to see just how far this baby can fly. Fly, like this fly Segue, to our sponsor.
Did we call it?
Editor, please cut out the awkward pause while I was thinking of that. Just use a punch in or something. Just like I'm gonna call myself to tell you about our sponsor. With PC gaming on the rise in Japan, can it game? Oh, and also, who's our sponsor?
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
But that covers 99% of the population. Just like 99% of our videos end in a segue to our sponsor. How much cooling do you actually need? It's probably gonna surprise you. Like the segue to our sponsor. Must be nice to have friends. I don't. But I do have our sponsor. What did they do? We know they didn't do this segue to our sponsor. I suspect that you could accomplish pretty much the same thing without your PC being out of commission for 2 days. Just like our Segue machine was out of commission, so I don't have one, to our sponsor. But that doesn't mean that we can't fire it up and relive our wildest dreams from a parallel universe. And fire up this message from our sponsor. Unfortunately for this timeline, they chose the Voodoo 5. And I choose this Segue to our sponsor. There's actually a handful of other games in similar situations, some of which are still playable. We're gonna have links in the description. We'll also have a link down there to our sponsor. I know I'm gonna get a lot of use out of remote download now that I know about it. The one feature that Steam is still missing though, is the Segue to our sponsor. Fear not, because we're gonna be showing you both the full range of its capabilities, at least for now, how to protect yourself, and how to segue to our sponsor. We're better off learning about it now while it's expensive, than later when it's cheap and it's too late. But it's not too late to hear about our sponsor. I am extremely confused.
We found something you can't open.
Maybe this is a good time to tell you about our sponsor.
Might be a lot more reasonable, especially when you're getting 100,000 games with those ones too.
And getting this message from our sponsor. This just in, the price is $700 and it crushes the Steam Deck. Go buy one, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Dbrand sponsored this video and sucks to be them because this is all they get. A 30-second clip of me telling you to go to Best Buy and buy an ROG Ally. And this thing is so fast, it shocked even the CEO of Apex Storage. Just like, I'm gonna shock you with this message from our sponsor. And I share your sentiment. I'm also excited to see where people use these. And I'm excited to tell you all about our sponsor. Is an 8 GPU design from 25 years ago that has a lot more in common with your future gaming rig than you probably realize. Like you realize, I'm about to tell you about our sponsor. It's really funny, isn't it? How the more things change, the more they stay the same. Just like I always do the same segue to our sponsor. Irrelevant, at least as far as gaming is concerned. Oh, just like I'm concerned, I might have forgotten this segue to our sponsor.
Oh snap. Or the Meshlicious that we brought out earlier.
But this one's so cool.
But this one is so cool.
Just like this cool segue to our sponsor. But today's a no compromise day. I especially am not gonna compromise on this segue to our sponsor. And spend a little bit more, I could get a Core i5-13400 on this same platform. Or if I didn't wanna spend anything at all, I could go for the segue to our sponsor.
Yeah, Linus, the interior of walls. Why didn't you put it in the interior?
Of course I thought of that! It's already in the inside! It's still loud! We're adding more! And I'm adding this segue to our sponsor. That's a lot better.
To be clear, this door is not really treated yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be even better.
It doesn't have a proper seal on it.
It doesn't even have this segue to our sponsor. Why now? What's gonna happen to the channels in the lab? And if not you, who's gonna be around to tell us about our sponsor? Sorry for bringing that up, and sorry for turning your introduction here into this segue to our sponsor. But that's beyond the scope of today's video. Today's video, which needs a message from our sponsor, because at the end of the day, it's your keyboard, and at the end of the video, it's my segue to today's sponsor. Every single detail of this build was meticulously thought out and executed. Let's have a closer look at our sponsor. It offers a much sharper image compared to 1080p, assuming the same screen size, but without the same major performance hit that comes with 4K. And it also comes with this message from our sponsor. ARC actually put up a pretty decent fight today, especially if you consider the $350 price, and especially if you consider our sponsor. now kind of sort of have a card that manages to keep up with the competition. Or it did anyway. But can you keep up with this message from our sponsor? To let future Linus know that he went to the wrong time. Oh God, they're coming! And don't forget to tell Linus about the Segue to our sponsor.
And I cannot wait to show you everything, minus whatever their lawyers cut. What they can cut though is this segue to our sponsor. And everyone else here at ASML San Diego. Oh, and of course I couldn't forget to thank our sponsor.
And a costume change to set the mood.
Oh, beautiful, perfect. Yeah, definitely. Oh, amazing.
Don't worry,
the fishnets, okay.
We got an outfit for you too.
Oh, great.
This is gonna be fun. Fun, just like this message from our sponsor. Yeah.
To be completely honest.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah.
At least there's nothing living in it. Just like I'm living with this Segue to our sponsor. A lot more than the 4060 Ti, NVIDIA is going to sell shed loads of them. Just like I sold this Segue to our sponsor. And they're even teasing a more powerful version with double the cooling capacity. And here's double the Segue to our sponsor, Segue to our sponsor. But that's because they're operating at a very small manufacturing scale because it's so new. But that could all change. Just like this Segue changed from what we wrote to our sponsor. 20 degrees look. That's impossible. Impossible to explain until I finish this Segue to our sponsor. Which is why Noctua actually doesn't recommend buying this if you have a 65-watt CPU. What they would recommend is that I do this Segue to our sponsor.